All right, let's get started. So I'm gonna, kick this off by introducing myself, and then I'll move on to introducing you, Victor. So my name is Nick. I'm a business development executive at Conversion, and I'm happy to see all of you here today. And to those of you who will watch the recording, happy to see you too. Um, Before we dive deeper into today's topic, I'd love to introduce my co-speaker, the CEO of Asapty, Victor. Um, he's going to unpack what makes Apple Search Ads such a powerful acquisition channel in 2025 and how to build a campaign structure that actually converts. So, if you're still unsure about where Apple Search Ads fits into your growth stack, trust me, you're in the right place. Um, all right. Yeah.
And you can see the presentation right now, right?
Yes, I can.
Perfect.
Guys,
Perfect.
please let me know in the chat if you can see our presentation. Anyone? Just send a plus or something.
If you can see the slide.
Uh, all right. Yeah, beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, um, quick background on Conversion. We are an in-app subscription platform that's been around for over 6 years. We power the subscription infrastructure for iOS, Android, and web-based payments like Stripe. And on top of that, we built tools for A/B testing, no-code paywalls. Got tools for regaining money from refund requests, analytics, and most relevant today, Apple Search Ads attribution. So our attribution engine is especially valuable for apps making under 100K per month because you can get accurate SKD network attribution without using any third-party MMPs. It's fully integrated into your subscription stack. And we currently support nearly $1 billion in subscription revenue per year through our system. And on that note, Victor, I'm giving you the floor. Please tell us
Yeah.
a little bit more about yourself. Yeah.
And so my name is Victor, and I am the CEO at Asapty, Apple Search Ads Optimization Service. Uh, so, like, probably I am a little bit biased, but I'll tell that like we are the best service in the market that works with Apple Search Ads or Apple Ads, like the correct way how to call this platform now. And like we're operating with more than 50 millions of budget under management in our platform, and we have everything that you as a marketer is missing from Apple Search Ads original dashboard. So we have automated rules, we have goal-based optimization, bulk edit, and a lot of enriched data, ocean insights about like what is your competition like looks like in Apple Ads, like what's like your competitors are doing in Apple Ads, which keywords they're using, and everything about that. We have probably like the most important piece of information in Apple Ads dashboard is impression share data. So which means that we're showing the amount of traffic that you are getting from every keyword in every country, which is available by API from Apple. So it's not like something unreal to show, but it's like from my perspective, it is the most important piece of information in the whole Apple Search Ads dashboard. So it's good that you'll be able to see all the data in our platform. And once again, probably I am a little bit biased, but I think that Apple Ads is the best user acquisition channel right now in the whole market, and there are a lot of reasons for that. And of course, like you don't need any MMP to track Apple Ads to get results from Apple Ads, because Apple Ads, they're using their own tracking framework called Ad Services, which you can like install by yourself in your application, and it will track everything. But of course, it is better to use conversions tracking, because I can tell that conversion, they have the best Apple Search Ads tracking in the market compared to at least other subscription tracking solutions. And I think that it is because like you invested a lot in your Apple Ads solution that you have in your platform. So of course you needed to have this like great quality. So that's great. And in Apple Ads we have this instant and accurate tracking because it is the only one network without the SKAd network tracking framework. And as I always tell that with the proper setup, ASA is it looks like and works like the paid organic that you can get to your app. And it is the best traffic in the whole internet, I can tell, because it is the search intent traffic. If someone is typing for the universal remote control, you need to show your ad. And if your app is good enough, if the rating is good enough, if the screenshots are good enough, if the relevancy is good, you will get this user, and most likely they will install and pay for your application if everything is good. And you can measure the size of the market using Apple Ads because you have this beautiful metric called search as popularity, which shows like the volume of every keyword. And you can, for example, if you are a serial developer and you have a lot of different applications, or you're planning to develop some other categories, you can check the size of the category and to understand that, okay, probably this category is super overcrowded and it has so many competitors, and this is like some kind of new category that looks great and I would invest in it, and like we'll try to make this type of great application. And in Apple Ads, continuing to the more technical data, of course you have like 4 placements. The most relevant and the most important of all of them is of course the search results, where you can buy some specific keywords. And other placements for me, they are more like the media reach and frequency stuff. And based on our experience that we have, I can tell that these 3 other placements, they work really well if you have a big brand, which means that like we always measure it by the size of search as popularity. So if your brand name is higher than 65, it means that most likely in this country your results will be good in these 3 placements. Otherwise, it will not be that good because people will not understand what is it, why should they install this application, and then everything about that. And speaking about the targeting options, I do not recommend to anyone to use any social demographic targetings like age and gender, because a really simple thing to understand, and that if you will select any age and gender targeting, you will show your ads only to the users who gave their permission to this ATT request message. And in the worst of metrics, you will get probably like 3 times lower amount of traffic for the 3 times higher price if you will use any age and gender. And there is no need to use them because, for example, if you have some kind of pregnancy tracker application, you don't need to target for women, because most likely if someone is looking for a pregnancy tracker, most likely it is a woman. So you don't need to target it and to narrow your audience, so just go broad. And yeah, so that's the thing about the targetings. And another thing that's another targeting that you could use is the type of the user, like new user, returning user, and stuff like that. So it's not kind of works well, because even if you will select only the new users, you will still get a lot of retributions, like lower amount compared to the target to everyone, but still you will get the new users. So once again, there is no need to narrow the audience, go for everyone, and it will work the best. And the most important and the most interesting in the keyword strategy, and the thing that I always tell is that Apple Ads strategy is completely opposite to everything that you are most likely doing in all the other channels like Meta, TikTok, and Google, where you have this idea that just go with the broad match, select this automated bid, go for all the audience, don't narrow it, don't do anything, it will work the best. In Apple Ads, You need to do the opposite. You need to segment the keywords as much as you can. And this is the thing that works absolutely the best. So for example, what I mean, so let's imagine that you have an application like the chatbot, AI chatbot. And in your application, there are a lot of features that you're providing to your users, like AI writing assistant, just AI assistant, AI image generator, AI, everything. So you have like 20 different features, and all of them, they have their volume in Apple Ads. So like AI video generator, image generator, assistant writing, AI email, AI essay, and everything about that. You need to create as many clusters as you can, segmenting them by different campaigns, because that's the way how you can understand which keywords works really well for you and which are not. And that's the way how you can create custom product pages, which is the most important part of everything. So you need to increase your relevancy as much as you can, because that's the thing that is like the most important in Apple Ads. The bigger the relevancy, the bigger the amount of installs that you are getting from the same amount of impressions, because like super important thing that you are buying impressions from Apple Ads. So you are paying for clicks, but you are buying impressions. And that's the thing about the impression share metric, that Apple will tell you that you are buying 91 to 100% of impression share, but the relevancy, it affects on how, like, what will be the amount of installs that you will get. If the relevancy is low, you will get like 50 installs per 1,000 impressions. And if the relevancy is good, you will get 200 installs from the same amount of impressions. So, so that's like the most important thing that you need to do. Cluster the keywords, create CPPs, increase the relevancy, target like for each cluster, for each keyword cluster. So that's the best thing that you can do. And about the match type, there is an interesting thing about the broad match. So most likely broad match will not work for you, because broad match, like the thing that always happens is that it adds a lot of like branded keywords of your competitors to the broad match results. And I saw probably a few cases when broad match worked really well, and it all like the thing that matters with the broad match is the amount of low volume terms that you will get. Because for example, like the most obvious thing that will happen if you will launch the broad match or discovery campaign, you will see the huge chunk of your budget that goes to the low volume terms. And you can try to launch the broad match campaign, and if you will see that you get a lot of traffic for the search terms, the actual search terms, and you don't have a lot of traffic, a lot of budget to the low volume term, you can run the broad match campaign this way, because the broad match, it works cheaper compared to the exact match based on our experience. Because usually if you're running the broad match, you will get a lot of low volume terms, and you never know what you will get in these low volume terms. And that's the way, like, why this broad match could work, because like since you don't have like this clear information of what you are getting in the low volume terms, like the real search terms are cheaper. And that's why it is like cheaper compared to exact match, where you know that, okay, I want to buy this specific keywords, I don't need anything else, I will work with the exact match. So I can tell that's probably like 99% that you need to work with exact match, and like 1% that you need to work with broad. But the thing that works really great with broad match is the discovery campaign. So the thing that you can do, you can select all the keywords that you would like to work with in your exact match campaign. You can select these keywords, add them as negative in the discovery campaign, launch the discovery campaign, and this discovery campaign most likely will find you some search terms that you were not able to find before. And there could be some kind of sub-generic keywords, or like kind of relative keywords to your application that you did not think about before, and it could work really well. And probably the topic that I love the most is the topic about the brand cannibalization. And in a few words, brand cannibalization doesn't exist. And it is like one of the biggest misconceptions that, for example, let's imagine that you have an application, and your application, it has a brand name. For example, I don't know, I don't know, chat on, for example, like the chatbot application. And you will think like, okay, I have this brand name, it is mine, I don't need to pay for it, and like it belongs to me, no one will take it from me. If someone will type chat on, they will download chat on and nothing except for chat on. But that's the opposite that will happen, because probably around like 10 to 15% of all traffic goes to your competitors if you're not secure in your brand name. So you really need to take care about it, because that's like the thing that always happens, that I really find funny, that you could have like the same advertiser that will tell you that, I really like to buy my competitors' traffic. It works really well. I would like to take everything from my competitors, and I don't want to secure my traffic because like it belongs to me. Why should I secure it? And like, so they're buying everything from their competitors. They really like it, but they don't secure their own brand. So brand cannibalization, it doesn't exist. Secure your brand. And another thing about the cannibalization that also could happen is like if your application is like if your application is like the number one in the organic search, and you're thinking like, should I run Apple ads for this keyword or not? Absolutely should. So the thing that, if we're thinking about like the generic keywords and all the other keywords in Apple ads, something like from 20% to 30% of all the traffic, it goes to Apple ads, and you cannot change it. So you cannot affect on it. You cannot like create some outstanding screenshots or outstanding offer or anything. Like 20 to 30% anyway will end up in Apple ads, and you can do anything about it. So if you are on the first position in organic, and you're thinking about like to run or not to run Apple ads, you just need to understand that if you will not run Apple ads for this keyword where you are the number one in the organic, some other application will gladly do this, and they will run Apple ads for this keyword, and they will take like 20 to 30% of all the traffic. You'll just lose it. So run Apple ads for all the keywords in the market. Try to secure everything if the profitability looks good for you. And and the good thing about our platform is that with this perfectly working integration with Qonversion, you can have all the data about your profitability in app events and everything about that in our platform, and you can run automated rules, you can run goal-based optimization, and like you can secure the best working results for your application and for your marketing campaigns. And at this moment, I would gladly pass the mic to Nick.
Yeah, thanks, Victor. It was a great walkthrough of how to build a solid Apple Search Ads foundation, from like campaign setup to keyword strategy. Yeah, so I'm gonna switch over to my presentation. Guys, please let me know in the chat if you can see
Yeah, we can.
my part. All right, beautiful. Yeah, so now that we've covered how to bring high intent users into your app, like let's talk about what happens next and why tracking the right metrics after the install is just as important as the actual install. So because like if we are not measuring what actually drives revenue, things like trial starts, paid conversions, and retention, then even like the best keyword strategy won't get us very far. So in this yeah, right here we'll just go into measurement, and let me go to my next slide. Okay, yeah, revenue driven metrics. So what to actually track? One of the biggest mistakes we see is teams optimizing for installs, but installs are just like the beginning. So they don't pay your bills. And what matters is what happens after the user tabs get. So here are the four signals we focus on when evaluating Apple Search performance. First of all, trial starts. Are users showing intent to engage? Secondly, paid conversions or subscriptions. Did they commit to pay? Renewals. Are they sticking around? Cancellations. Where is value falling short? So just a quick example. Let's say you're running a campaign for a fitness app, and you get installs for $2, but only 12% of users start a trial, only 3% convert to paid, and churn after the first week is like 65%. And let's now compare it to a second campaign where you pay twice as much. You pay $4 per install, but 30% start a trial, so which is 3 times more than in the first case. 15% convert, and your LTV is 3 times higher. So with that said, what I'm trying to what I'm trying to deliver is that, like, even though the second campaign looks more expensive upfront because you pay 2 times more for installs, it's the one actually making money. So high volume with low value is worse than low volume with high value. Okay. So let's break down how tracking post-install events actually works inside Apple Search Ads. Um, it all starts with the SKD network, Apple's privacy first attribution framework. So user taps your ad and installs the app. Your app's SDK, like conversions, begins tracking subscription events like trial starts, conversions, and renewals. In parallel, SKD network sends a delayed postback to Apple with campaign level attribution data, and conversion server side logic then matches this attribution data with the user's in-app activity using client-generated tokens and install timestamps, all without accessing private user information. So this setup gives you accurate attribution while staying compliant with Apple's privacy standards without any MMP. And then the next section, optimization loop. And I believe, yeah, passing the floor to Victor again. Sorry, you are muted. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry, there's like some kind of delay in like turning on the microphone, so now it's all good. Perfect. So yeah, what should you do about the optimization? And so the easiest thing, that probably not the easiest. So like, let's imagine that you already collected all the keywords, you've segmented them, you've created all the clusters, all the campaigns, all the ad groups, everything, and after that, you really need to take care about the custom product pages, because let's imagine my previous example where you not the previous, let's do something else. Let's imagine that you are working with the photo editor application, and you have a lot of different features like AI enhancer quality, remove background, blur and blur effects, AI makeup, everything else, like a lot of features. And all these features, they have a lot of traffic in Apple Ads. And let's imagine that you are using your default 3 screenshots, default set of ads in Apple Ads for all these keywords. The results will not be good, the results will be even bad. So if there will be some kind of user that will type AI enhancer, and they will see some generic screenshots for the AI editing tool, they will not install it. If you will have a user that types AI background remover, they will see your default ad, they will not install it. So you need to make sure that, okay, we not only segmented all these keywords by different clusters, but we will prepare custom product pages for all these clusters. And you need probably the biggest problem that we always face is that when we tell this to clients, to our users, to our like self-service users, agency users, everything, they always tell that, yeah, like our designers, they are kind of busy, probably like next quarter we will try to do it. And like during like these first months of the launch, they do not see some good results from Apple Ads, and they leave it forever because they think that it's such a bad platform, you don't need to invest in it, it doesn't work really good. But I can tell that I used to think the same. For example, when I was like the original story of how I started to build Asapty, I needed a tool for myself. And it was like a long time ago when the COVID started and I was working in the travel company. Um, I thought that, okay, I know everything about mobile marketing, about all the channels like Meta, TikTok, Google, like everything, and the Apple Ads. I need something to create the freelance case, and I would work with Apple Ads because it will not require me to do any creatives. That's good. I will launch it. The results will be great. But a lot of millions of budget spent after that. I realized that it is the complete opposite. It's not that bad is in Meta. It's not like the thing that you need to create like 100 creatives every week and they will burn out and you need to create more and more and more. So you just need to create the good looking and good working custom product page for every cluster that you will specify for your campaigns. And that's where comes probably like the second best metric from Apple Ads that we always use. It's our own custom metric called IPM. And the IPM is installs per mile or installs per 1,000 impressions. And IPM basically is a relevancy score of your Apple Ads. And in our platform, we are using these different colors for the different IPMs. So when you log into our platform, the first thing that you will see is this IPM column, which will be colored in the different colors like red, yellow, green. If you will see the green, it's all good. And you can think about it like, okay, right now I have the IPM of 40 for my generic keywords. You need to think that, okay, something is not good. Something is wrong. It should not be 40. It should be at least 150 or it should be 200. So I can tell that the general numbers for the IPM for the generic keywords, it should be around 200. It should be around 50 to 70 for your competitors' keywords, and it should be around 250 for your own brand. So if the numbers are not there yet, you need to work on it. And I would recommend to work a lot on your competitors' keywords. Try to create something unique, like unique offer, unique wording, unique anything for your competitors, because the competitors' keywords is the biggest cluster of keywords in the whole App Store. Try to create something, be creative. So the easiest example that I always tell about is an example from that I saw on the LinkedIn. Like, for example, you're using your competitor's brand name and you're using the screenshot, the custom product page, which tells like, did you mean our brand? Like, or like better install our application. So I think that I can't remember like where I saw it. I remember that probably it was like from the ASO manager of the Freeletics company, LinkedIn. Yeah, so try to be creative. CPPs are everything. IPM is everything. It is the most important thing that you should do in your Apple Ads, and you should focus like when you will secure the good working CPPs, you will just select the keywords that provides you the good revenue and the good profitability and the good conversion to trial converted and subscription renewed and everything about that. So it will be done and you will secure the biggest volumes, the best price, and the best conversion. So it's all about that.
Yeah, actually, totally agree with you on that. On the last bit that you mentioned about using competitor's name, I come across it a lot. You know, when somebody uses competitor's name. So yeah. Um, all right, let's talk automation. So the old way of managing uh, Apple Search Ads was setting a CPI goal, tracking installs, and adjusting bits up and down accordingly. But if you are a subscription app, installs don't mean much unless they, lead to revenue. So the modern and smarter approach is to build your automation logic around real value, not something that doesn't matter. So instead of optimizing for CPI, optimize for trial start rate, trial to paid conversion, LTV, and churn. Because like if a campaign costs $20 per install but gives you $50 in return, that's a win. Even if if your CPI looks high. So let's move on to the next slide. Yeah, and you can think of Apple Search Ads campaigns like experiments. So you are testing hypotheses, collecting data, and then iterating based on results. And here is the loop we recommend. Test creatives, keyword groups, and onboarding variations. Measure outcomes, trial starts, revenue per user, retention. Then reallocate budget based on performance signals, not just volume. And automate bidding based on user value, not user count. So it's like the scientific method applied to paid user acquisition. Now let's go through some common mistakes and ways to like handle them. Um, these may sound familiar because they are incredibly common, but they're also like totally fixable if you know what to watch for. Um, the first one, the number one trap is over reliance on installs. So Apple Search Ads gives you great visibility into installs, but if you stop there, you're flying blind. Because again, like installs don't pay the bills, subscriptions do. So it's easy, to get excited when CPI drops and installs go up. But what if trial starts are flat, trial to paid conversion is down, retention is crashing. So you can end up scaling a campaign that looks great on the surface, but delivers zero, long-term value. Um, so to fix this, make sure your optimization logic and reporting includes post-install events like trial start rate, day one and day seven retention, LTV renewal rate. Um, Secondly, it's attribution hygiene. Uh, as logical as it sounds, if your data is messy, your decisions will be too. So we often see cases where subscription events aren't linked correctly to campaigns. SKN postbacks are missing or misconfigured. And trial conversions show up delayed or in their own channels. So this leads to budget going to their own sources or underperforming campaigns getting a free pass. And so like basically even if your data is great, it is going to be useless if it points in the wrong direction. And to fix this, you can double check your skd network and server side integrations. You can make sure key revenue events are tracked with timestamp accuracy, and you can align data across tools, especially if you're running multiple channels. And by the way, conversion makes this a lot easier. But again, the hygiene still matters, no matter the tool. And the final mistake that I would like to highlight is your mindset. Uh, you don't need to wait for churn to fix the funnel. So you should anticipate it, A/B test everything. So we see, like we see, still see a lot of teams running Apple Search Ads like it's a set it and forget it campaign. They only take action, when something breaks. like trial to paid tanks or churn jumps. So that's a reactive mindset. By the time you notice the issue, you've already wasted a bunch of your budget. Um, so to fix this, you can build A/B testing, incorporate it into your routine. Like try different onboarding flows, paywall messaging, even trial durations. You can use leading indicators like trial start rate or day one retention as early warning signs. And you can also look for drops in LTV before churn shows up. So this proactive approach saves money, improves campaign health, and ultimately boosts retention and revenue. And we've got a few bonus slides that I would like to go through. And luckily, we've got time for this. So, key metrics. And all right, yeah. Um, so, let's start with the obvious trial starts versus cancellations. So if your cancellation rate is high, it means users aren't finding the value they expected. Let's look at this
I
slide,
can
right?
add one more
Sure.
thing about the trial cancellation. The just looking at the trial cancellation doesn't work all the time, because sometimes you need to also check the billing issue event, because some countries they have trial cancels, but some countries they will have a lot of billing issues. So we found out that, for example, in the countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, there will be a lot of billing issues. So there will be almost no trial cancels, and only everything, like all the churn will happen in the billing issue. And the reason behind that is that it happens because they're using some kind of empty cards on their
Hmm.
Apple ID accounts, and it just could not be renewed. So that's the thing.
Okay. That's a very vital interjection. Thanks for sharing with us. Okay. Yeah. Let's look at user lifecycle modeling. So imagine this someone has a clear pain point, like let's say they want a better alarm clock. They go to the app store and search for alarm app. They find yours, install it, and start a trial. But if their problem isn't solved during the trial, they cancel and go back to the store to keep searching. So this is why in most cases cancellation rate is a signal that you should watch for. And in contrast, like channels like Facebook and TikTok are more impulsive. People just scroll their feed, and come across apps randomly. If the app like doesn't you know immediately hook them, they might not even bother using it. So yeah, and it's just like some logical tips that you might want to use. If you see like drop off point, you should fix it. As simple as it sounds. um, retention is a signal, and in Apple search ads it should be stronger than in other channels. So if your Apple search ads retention looks similar to other channels, something is definitely off. Maybe their own keywords or weak onboarding, something like this. Okay, and now let's discuss retention and trial to paid conversion. So with Apple search ads, retention is naturally higher. So that means that users not only stay longer, but they also renew their subscriptions more often. So even if a billing issue arises, Apple retries the charge multiple times, increasing your recovered revenue. Secondly, it's superior trial to paid rates. So the conversion rate from trial to paid in Apple search ads can be up to 2 times higher than Facebook. But here's the catch: if your Apple search ads trial to paid rate is the same as Facebook, for instance, and the acquisition cost is higher, don't blame the channel. It likely means that your targeting is off or your creatives aren't aligned with user intent. And finally, it's cost versus value. I mentioned it before. Cost. It might, like, Apple search ads might cost more per user. It could be like $20 versus $10, for example. But if that user renews, retains, and pays more over time, that cost is more than just like justified for you. Okay. Oh yeah. We're about to enter the Q&A session, so I just wanted to add like a final word to wrap up the main part of the presentation. So Apple Search Ads it's not just like another channel. It's a high intent, high conversion, high retention growth engine, but it only works if you measure the right things, act on them, and continuously test. Installs, again, are just the start. Real growth happens after that. And so I invite all of you to ask me and Victor questions. If you could specify who who the question is for, that would be fantastic. Meanwhile, I'll just while people are typing in their questions, I wanted to circle back to what you mentioned, Victor. This is for you. Yeah. I forgot to say. So yeah, I wanted to circle back to what you said about brand cannibalization. You touched upon it, like you mentioned that it's one of your favorite topics. But yeah, my question is, you mentioned that bidding on your brand is like essential. My question is how teams can do that without burning the budget.
I there is a big question, a big answer to that, and this a really small answer to that. So, a really small answer to that is to use Asapty, of course, because like we can. So the main thing about our platform is that we guarantee that you are buying your traffic for the lowest possible price, because like we can identify that, okay, like what should be the price of the install, and like we will try to aim for the lowest possible price, and we will tell you that, okay, like if there is no traffic for this price, it's not possible to buy it for this price. And the bigger answer to that is that I can tell that we always see these cases when the brand traffic costs a lot for some reason. And the reason behind that is that if we have a manager, for example, that thinks like, I really need to protect all my brand like at any cost, and they will use some kind of high bid just to secure it. And for example, if you're using the default Apple Search Ads dashboard where you don't have this direct access to the impression share data, you could think that like my brand is way bigger. It's like it should be 5,000 impressions per day. We are super huge, and you will increase your bids day after day, and just to try to come up like with the impression share that you think you have. And the only one thing that will happen in this case is that you will start to buy it for a higher price. And the thing that you need to do to secure the lowest possible price for your own brand is to work with all the information that you have from Apple Ads, and the most importantly is the information about the impression share. So you need to make sure that, okay, like if the impression share is already 91 to 100%, I don't need to buy more. Even if it's like 81 to 90%, probably you should not increase the bid to get this, like some last parts of traffic that you are losing to your competitors, because that's the way how Apple Ads works. Apple tries to make sure that everyone will get some part of the traffic. So like that's the great thing about Apple Ads, that any app in the world at any moment of time, they could join the auction and they will get some volume. And that's like the great thing about Apple Ads auction, that like it doesn't matter like the size of your brand, it doesn't matter like the amount of money that you have, you cannot secure 100% of impression share, you cannot take everything. Some part of the auction is not on hold for other future marketers. So make sure that you use all the data from Apple Ads, not to pay more for the same amount of traffic. I think that I can answer to these questions, like how different type of campaigns linked. I'm currently using only search type. So that's a good thing that you're using only the search type right now. Once again, if your brand, if you don't have, this huge brand name which has more than 65 of search as popularity, you probably don't need to launch other placements, because most likely it will not work really well for you. The only one thing that probably could work is the product pages, if you will launch it to the similar apps, like the apps that looks like your, and that's the only one thing that you should probably try. If your app is just some kind of utility or fitness or even something like popular, I don't know, there is no need to run for other placements. How often do you update, say, campaign settings to optimize it? Depends on what you are changing. So, for example, if we're speaking about the CPT bid on the keyword level, you can change it there are different stages. If you're trying to launch the campaign and you're trying to get your first impressions, you still see these zeros for the impressions for all the keywords. You can change the CPT bid like every 1 hour until you will get your impressions, because the CPT bid, it reacts very, very fast to the changes of the bids. It affects on the auction in a really fast way. If you already have the situation when you already have impressions and you are trying to get more and more and more and more impression share, I would recommend to change it every 2 or even 3 days, because if you will do like everyday changes, it will not work really well, because the auction will not have time to adapt to the changes and the results will not be good, and you need to give some time to the auction to optimize towards your goals. And another great thing that could happen is that, for example, your competitor will decide that they are not longer able to compete with you and they will turn off their ads, and at the same time you will get like x2 x3 amount of volume without changing any bids. And just give your ads some time, like let them work, and then change it more than like every 2 then 3 days. And there is no way to do on the opposite side. There is no reason to change it every week, for example. It's not that frequent, it will not work really well. So like 2 or 3 days is the best one. Should the keys in Connect and SA match? Yes. So it is a really, really great question, because it's all about this relevancy that I've mentioned before. And it's not only about the visual part of the relevancy that you see in your dashboard, but it's also about the relevancy for the Apple Ads internal system. So the thing is that imagine that your application is calculator. You will not be able to buy keywords for the photo editor keywords. Even if you will tell that I'm ready to pay $1,000 for a click, you will not be able to do this, because Apple will decide that your application is not relevant for this keyword. They have some kind of internal stuff that they're doing. So you should take care about it. You should take care about your metadata. You should insert the relevant keywords. And I can tell that Once in our, not once, it happened a lot of time, but it is like the example that I remembered and that I always tell. We were working with the pregnancy tracking application, and we tried to buy traffic from the for the cluster of keywords with the fertility, like fertility tracker, fertility this and this and this. And we were not able to do it until they added the word fertility in the keywords. After they added it, like we skyrocketed to the 100% of impression share. Are there any recommendations for the CPP test in our campaigns? Maybe there is a way to prevent traffic from overlapping between the main and test campaign or group. There should not be any different campaigns or groups. Make sure that your keyword that you're working with like only works in one campaign in one place, so you don't have the same keywords in different places. You can just take your like the current ad group that you have right now. You will have some results for the default campaign, or sorry, for the default ad. Just add CPP to this ad group, make it work, give it some time, and you will see that, okay, we used to have 50 IPM for the default ad, and now we have 75 for the CPP. Great. If you want to do another test, add another CPP to the same group, and that's all. So like, do not clone any campaigns, do not clone, duplicate any ad groups, do everything inside one ad group for one keyword. Do keywords should be grouped to different groups, or it's okay to make one big group? So in our platform, we are working with the keyword structure called single keyword ad group, which means that we will create a separate ad group for every keyword. So I am the biggest ambassador for this structure. So I always tell that it is the best structure that you could possibly imagine to work with in Apple Ads. And there is nothing that works better compared to single keyword ad group or SCAG. And yeah, so I will always tell that one keyword, one ad group, and you will have the best quality and best clarity of your data ever possible that you'll get from Apple Ads. Is there a guide on how to properly use auto roles in Asapty? Yeah, this guide is speaking right now. So you can ask me at any time, and I will help you to set up the rules in Asapty. So the thing is that so I really want to build some kind of, templates, automated rules templates. But every time when I try to come up with the way how you should do it, I cannot create anything that would work for all the apps, because there is no like template that you can create for all the apps, because all the apps are different. Because someone is targeting for the trial started, another one is targeting for the trial converted, another one cares about just the impression share, and like the amount of cases that could be done with the automated rules like is insane. And of course we can create some kind of like 4 templates, but it won't make any sense. And why does one keyword, one ad group works the best? It is because using this structure, you can solve the biggest problem of Apple Ads, which is I call it like not exact match. So exact match in Apple Ads, it works like it provides you keywords that are kind of the same to the keywords that you would like to work with. So which means that if you would like to work with the keyword universal remote, you will also get traffic for the search terms, which are universal remotes, universal remote TV, remote TV, universal TV. So Apple, like it will not be still exact. And since it will not be a really exact match, so the SCAG structure, it is only one way how you can achieve this real exact structure, where you make sure that, okay, my ad group equals to keyword equals to search term. And in our platform, we have a tool called Smart Cross Minusing. So this tool, it detects if the search term is not equal to the keyword. So we will check like, okay, like, do you have these keywords already as a separate group? And if not, we will create another group with this keyword. If you already have this group as a, like, if you already have this search term as a separate ad group, we will just add this search term to this ad group. So that's the case about the smart cross minusing. That we will make sure that, okay, if you have the ad group called universal remote, the only one search term that will work in this group will be universal remote. And you will get this real transparent data for all the keywords separately, because the main thing about Apple Ads is that even if you have keywords that looks absolutely the same, like remote and universal remote, or universal remote and universal remotes, I don't know, like they could work with a 2 times different ROI. So one could be ROI 0, another one could be ROI 80%, and there is no like reasonable explanation about that, but that's how it works. So you need to make sure that you're controlling all the keywords and all search terms separately. And free suffix work or just bring low quality traffic? You should test it. So I always tell that you should test it, because I saw a lot of cases where free keywords worked way better than keywords without free. So it depends, like the category by category. So some categories, like the biggest keywords, they have this free in the body of the keyword. In some categories, there will be like no free keywords. So test it, try it, make sure that it works or not. Because I know that, for example, in some categories, the biggest keywords are the keywords with the term free inside, and they're working absolutely the best. Should we use video for store page? Also depends on category by category. So I always tell that you should not do video just to do video. You need to check like what your competitors are doing and what you're doing in general. So for example, if your category is about the photo editing, you kind of need to show what you are doing, which features you have, what you are doing, like something like that. And if your category requires you to create a video, and if all the competitors that you have there using video, you should do the video, because like that's how it works. If you have once again, if you have a calculator, you don't need to create a video for the calculator. So it's all like based on your research and based on your category. So do the research. If it's worth it, do it. If it's not, not. It's not it will not bring you some unreal results just because it's a video.
Thanks a lot for handling all the questions. And guys, thanks a lot for asking all of these questions. You were very active. And on this note, I believe we can wrap up the session, because we already ran out of time. Victor, once again, thanks for tuning in and sharing your expertise with us. And everyone who tuned in to listen to us, thanks a lot. And we'll follow up with the presentation and the recording.
Yeah, and another thing that I did, I just inserted my Telegram account in the chat. So if you have any messages, like any questions that you still have about Apple Ads or about Asapty or about anything, feel free to reach me out in Telegram. Feel free to reach me out in the email, like the way you like. And do the same for Qonversion. Try Qonversion. They're doing a really great job with subscription tracking and ASA tracking.
Yeah, we'll send all information about how to contact us in the follow-up. All right. Thanks a lot, and see you.
Nick, thank you for your time today. Thank you for the great presentation, and thanks for everyone who attended this webinar. It was great to answer all these questions and to speak more about Apple Ads and subscription tracking.
All right. Bye-bye.